All right, so today we're going to try to figure out what's up with this Manus thing.
Yeah, lots of buzz.
Right, this new AI, everyone's calling it a universal AI agent, but like, is it really? I mean, is that just hype? Are we getting ahead of
I
ourselves?
think the hype itself is worth looking at.
Oh, for sure.
The intensity of the reaction articles and all over social media, even like the price of these early access
Yeah,
codes.
that's crazy.
It all seems to say that something big is happening.
Yeah, no, totally.
People seem really convinced that this is something we haven't really seen before.
So let's break it down then for people who haven't been following every single tweet and article.
Right.
What is Manus? Everyone keeps saying it's the world's first truly general AI agent, but we already have like AI assistants and chatbots, right? Like, what's so different about this one?
Well, think about it this way. Like AI assistants are kind of like a really smart brainstorming partner, right? They can answer your questions, they can generate text, they can help you with code,
Yeah.
but they kind of stop at the idea stage. Manus is different because it takes those ideas and actually executes them.
Hmm.
It's more like having an intern who not only brainstorms with you, but also like actually does the work.
So less talk, more action.
Exactly.
I like it. And speaking of action, I've noticed that a lot of the sources are using this phrase, universal hand, to describe Manus, and they're linking it back to that Latin phrase, mens e manus, mind in hand.
Right?
So it's all about AI translating its mind into actual tangible results.
Exactly. And that's really a key distinction here.
Yeah.
It's not just about understanding information, but it's about actually using that understanding to complete complex tasks.
Okay, so how does it actually do that?
Well, one of the things that makes this possible is Manus's multiple agent structure.
Okay.
Essentially, it's like a team of specialized AI all working together.
Mm-hmm.
So one agent might focus on planning, another on execution, another on quality control.
So it's not just one AI, it's like a whole team of AI working together, like almost like a mini company operating inside your computer.
Exactly. And this multi-agent system allows Manus to be way more effective than other AIs, or at least that's what the sources seem to suggest.
Okay, so that's fascinating from like a technical standpoint. But let's get specific. Like, what kinds of things can this thing actually do?
Well, the examples are actually really diverse. If you need to screen resumes for a specific role, Manus can do it based on your criteria. Looking for a new house, Manus can analyze listings and factor in your budget and preferences.
Wow.
Have a ton of financial data to analyze? Manus can handle that too, creating dashboards, summarizing key information.
I was reading about this person who used Manus to find a house in New York, and it pulled safety data and property prices, even ran budget calculations, and presented a polished report with recommendations.
Yeah.
That's not just like spitting out links.
Right.
That's real problem solving.
Absolutely. And that highlights how Manus goes beyond just like text or simple answers.
Yeah.
It can generate code, it can build visual dashboards, it can create tables, even Excel documents. It's about giving you a complete actionable result, not just like pieces of information.
Okay, so it sounds incredibly impressive, but how do we know if it actually lives up to the hype?
Well, one way to measure its capabilities is to look at how Manus performs on something called the GAIA benchmark.
Okay, so the GAIA benchmark, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's basically like a test to see how well an AI can solve real-world problems.
You got it.
And from what I'm reading, Manus is doing amazingly well, like even better than other AI systems developed by some pretty big names like OpenAI.
Right.
What does that tell us?
Well, it suggests that Manus is operating at a level of sophistication that we haven't seen before.
Okay.
I mean, some sources are even claiming that Manus outperforms OpenAI's best models on tasks of equal complexity. So
Wow.
while we don't have all the details about the tests themselves, there's definitely a lot of excitement in the AI community.
So we've got this potentially game-changing AI, but who's behind it? From what I've gathered, Manus was created by Monica, which is a Chinese startup,
Right.
and it was founded by a serial entrepreneur named Xiao Hong.
Yes, and their co-founder and chief scientist is a guy named Ji Chao. His demo video apparently went viral.
Oh, wow.
And it's worth mentioning that Monica already has a pretty solid reputation in the AI world.
Okay.
They're known for creating practical AI solutions. Their ChatGPT browser plugin gained a massive following incredibly quickly.
Yeah, I remember that.
So they're not exactly newcomers.
And they've got some serious backing, too. I saw mentions of investments from Tencent's venture capital arm and Zen Fund.
Right. They're definitely well-funded.
So they're not working out of a garage.
No, not at all.
But back to Manus itself. The early preview launch on March 6th caused a huge frenzy. People were staying up all night just to get these invite codes, and get this resale codes were going for as high as $14,400.
That's insane.
I know, it's great.
That level of demand really shows how much people are willing to pay for early access.
Wow.
They clearly believe that Manus offers something truly unique, something worth that premium price.
It feels like we're at a turning point in the AI landscape.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But before we get into the implications of all this, how does Manus actually stack up against the competition?
Well, we know that the big players like Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google are all working on agent-like systems.
Right.
But what sets Manus apart, at least for now, are these really comprehensive and practical demonstrations of how it can complete complex tasks. It's not just about potential, it's about actually showing what Manus can do in the real world.
It seems like we've had these hints of what AI agents could do for years, but Manus is taking a much more concrete approach, showing real-world applications.
I think that's a really good way to put it.
But I think we need to dig a little deeper into what Manus is actually capable of.
Definitely, let's do it. One thing that's really caught my attention with Manus is this idea of autonomous learning.
Oh, yeah, totally. That was one of the things that I saw a lot, too. It seems like Manus can remember your preferences from previous tasks and use that to tailor its responses in the future.
Right.
Like if you always prefer your data in a table, it'll just automatically present it that way the next time.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's learning and adapting to your individual needs and working style.
It's a really powerful concept, and it points to this level of personalization that we just haven't really seen before in AI.
Yeah.
But it does kind of make you wonder, like, how much of this is true learning and how much is just clever programming?
Right.
Is it really understanding your preferences, or is it just following some really complex set of instructions?
You're totally right. It's easy to be impressed by something that seems intelligent, but, maybe it's just a very complex set of instructions.
Exactly.
And that kind of makes me think about some of the skepticism I've seen online.
Yeah.
Some critics are saying that Manus might just be a really slick combination of existing AI technologies, packaged in a way that makes it seem like something totally new.
Yeah, like don't be fooled by the shiny exterior.
Right, exactly.
It's a valid concern. And I think it's important to approach this with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Yeah.
We need more evidence to really know for sure if Manus is genuinely different, or if it's just a more sophisticated repackaging of what we already have.
But even if it's not like true artificial general intelligence, it's still pushing the boundaries of what AI can do right.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely raising the bar, pushing other companies to think bigger and bolder.
So it's no longer enough for AI to just answer questions or write text. Now it's about these agents that can actually handle complex tasks, adapt to individual users, and produce real-world results.
Exactly.
And speaking of major shifts in the AI landscape, it's hard not to compare Manus to DeepSeek.
Right.
I mean, that was a huge moment in AI.
It really was.
A genuine breakthrough.
Absolutely.
Do you think Manus has the potential to be another seismic shift in the field?
I mean, the parallels are definitely there.
Yeah.
Both DeepSeek and Manus represent these significant leaps forward in what AI can do.
Yeah.
And they've both generated a ton of excitement and hype.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But there are some key differences.
Yeah.
DeepSeek was mainly focused on natural language processing and understanding.
Oh.
Manus seems to be more about taking action and completing tasks in the real world.
So not just understanding the world, but actually changing it.
Exactly.
Bridging that gap between digital information and physical action, that's where things get really interesting.
Right. Imagine a world where AI agents like Manny's are just integrated into our daily lives,
Yeah.
managing our schedules, handling our finances, even helping us learn and grow in these personalized ways.
That's amazing.
But with such a powerful technology, we also have to think about the ethical and societal implications.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, what happens to all the jobs that could be automated by these AI agents?
Yeah.
And how do we make sure they're used responsibly and don't, perpetuate biases or create new problems?
Right, those are huge questions that we need to address as a society.
Totally.
Ignoring the potential downsides of this technology would be irresponsible.
Right.
But we also can't let fear and uncertainty stifle innovation. It's a tricky balance.
It is. We need to find a way to be cautious, but also optimistic. Embrace the possibilities while acknowledging the risks. And I think most importantly, have these honest conversations about how we want AI to shape our world.
Absolutely.
And speaking of the people behind Manus, what do we actually know about Monica and its vision for the future?
Well, from what I've gathered, they seem to be all about building AI solutions that are both powerful and practical.
Okay.
They clearly have a knack for understanding user needs and then creating products that address those needs in these innovative ways.
Yeah.
I mean, the success of their ChatGPT browser plugin shows that they can move fast and deliver real value.
Totally. They definitely have the world's attention now.
For sure.
But what are their long-term goals? Real domination in the AI agent space or something else entirely?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Their website and their public statements give us some clues, but it seems like they're thinking long-term. They're building a foundation for a future where AI is just seamlessly woven into our lives.
It's both exciting and a little unnerving to imagine what that would look like.
I know, right?
I mean, we can't predict exactly what the world will be like in 5 or 10 years, but it's clear that AI is going to be a major part of it, and companies like Monica are at the forefront of that transformation.
Absolutely. And it's something that really stands out to me is their emphasis on this universal hand concept.
Yeah.
It's a subtle but significant shift. AI isn't just about understanding the world anymore.
Right.
It's about acting on that understanding and
Yeah.
changing the world around us.
Yeah, it's like they're saying AI isn't just a tool for observing and analyzing anymore.
Right.
It's a tool for taking action and creating, and that opens up a whole world of possibilities,
It does.
but also a whole world of new questions and challenges.
Exactly. Like, what are the ethical limits of AI action? How do we ensure that these AI agents act responsibly and don't cause harm?
Right.
How do we find that sweet spot between reaping the potential benefits and mitigating the potential risks?
These are huge questions, and we're going to need to grapple with them as AI continues to evolve.
We will.
But I think for now, we need to acknowledge the incredible progress that's been made. Yeah.
Manus is a testament to human ingenuity and our ability to create tools that push the boundaries of what's possible.
It really is. It's also a powerful reminder that the future of AI isn't something that's just happening to us.
Yeah,
It's something that we're actively shaping with our choices and our actions.
totally.
It's up to us to make sure that we create a future where AI empowers humanity, not replaces it.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've talked about Manus's capabilities, the hype surrounding its launch, the comparisons to DeepSeek, and the broader implications for the future of AI. But I think it's time to spend some time looking at the practical applications.
Yeah, I agree.
We've touched on a few examples, but I'm really curious to explore how Manus is actually being used in the real world.
Definitely talking about the theoretical potential of an AI agent is one thing.
Yeah.
Seeing how it's actually being implemented and what results it's delivering, that's a
Yeah.
whole other level. Totally. That's where things get really interesting. So let's dive into the nitty-gritty of Manus in action. We'll explore specific use cases, see what kind of results people are getting, and consider what this all means for various industries and professions. And that's exactly what we'll be doing in part 3 of our deep dive. All right, so we've talked a lot about like the potential of Manus, but let's get down to like the actual, the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
How are people actually using this thing?
Well, one area where we're seeing some real impact is in the business world.
Okay.
There's a lot of buzz about how Manus could totally change the way companies approach things like, marketing and sales operations, finance, all
Wow.
that stuff.
Yeah, and it's not just hype. I've been reading about some companies
Yeah,
using Manus to get some pretty impressive results.
Exactly. We're talking about real concrete examples, not just like theoretical possibilities.
Right.
One case study that really caught my eye was this barbecue restaurant in Texas
Oh, yeah.
that was having trouble attracting customers, and they decided to give Manus a try.
I read about that one too. So instead of just giving like generic marketing advice, Manus dug into the data.
Right.
Local demographics, competitor pricing, even like foot traffic patterns.
Yeah. It analyzed all of it.
I can't remember. Did they say how it even accessed that data?
That part wasn't super clear, but it seems like Manus can integrate with all these different data sources and APIs, which is a whole other level of capability.
That's wild.
But the important thing is that based on all of that data, Manus actually put together a customized marketing plan for that specific restaurant.
So it recommended like specific promotions and stuff?
Yeah, things like that.
Even like figured out the best times to run ads?
It even suggested changes to the menu.
Wow.
So it wasn't just about gathering information. It was about using that information to actually make a plan.
So did it work?
According to the case study, the restaurant saw a huge increase in sales and foot traffic within a few weeks.
Really?
Yeah, it's a pretty compelling example of how Manus can deliver tangible results.
That's amazing. It's one thing to hear about it acing some benchmark test,
Right.
but it's another thing entirely to see it actually helping a business succeed.
Totally. And it's not just small businesses either.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I mean, we're seeing larger companies using Manus for things like B2B sourcing and even like high-level strategic planning.
So it can handle like really big, complex tasks.
Yeah, it seems that way. There are reports of companies using it to analyze huge data sets,
Yeah.
identify potential suppliers, even forecast market trends.
It really makes you wonder, what can't this thing do?
Right.
If it can write code, analyze businesses, plan marketing strategies, where does it stop?
That's the million-dollar question.
Seriously.
And it's one that we're only beginning to explore.
Eh.
I think as Manus continues to learn and evolve, its capabilities are just going to keep expanding.
Which brings us to a pretty important question. What does all this mean for the future of work?
Right.
Are AI agents like this going to replace jobs, or will they create new ones?
Yeah, that's the question everyone's asking.
And it's one that people have been debating for years, and there's no easy answer.
Yeah, it's hard to say for sure.
But I think it's important to remember that AI is a tool.
It is.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
It all comes down to how we choose to use it.
I completely agree. The key is to make sure we're using it responsibly and ethically.
Right.
We need to be thinking about, guidelines and regulations to protect workers.
Yeah.
And make sure that AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
And that's where I think the conversation needs to shift. We can't just focus on the technical stuff.
Exactly.
We need to talk about the societal and ethical implications.
For sure. Things like bias and accountability, transparency, all of that.
Yeah. How do we make sure these systems are making fair decisions?
Right.
And how do we hold them accountable when things go wrong?
Those are big questions. And we need to start addressing them now before it's too late.
It feels like a really crucial moment. We have a chance to shape this whole thing,
I think so.
Shape the future of AI in a way that actually benefits all of humanity.
Yeah,
But we need to act now and be really proactive.
I agree.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Manus, it's clear that we've only scratched the surface.
It was just the beginning.
This is a technology with the power to change the world in some really profound ways,
It is.
for better or worse.
And it's evolving so fast, what we know about Manus today could be totally different tomorrow.
I know it's both exciting and a little terrifying.
It is.
We're entering uncharted territory here.
We are no roadmap.
But one thing's for sure, this whole conversation about AI, it's more important now than ever.
Absolutely. We need to keep talking, keep learning, and keep asking tough questions.
About the role we want AI to play in our lives. So stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.
Great advice.
The future of AI is being written right now, and we all have a part in shaping it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Manus.
It's been a fascinating journey, and hopefully you've come away with a better understanding of this crazy technology and what it could mean for our lives.